Hey everybody, this is Christine with Cocoa Daisy, and I am super excited to show you a bunch of creative ideas. We're going to show you a card, some tags, a couple layouts in notebooks, layouts, like a 6x8 size, I think, and we're just gonna, all kinds of fun stuff. So lots and lots of layers. And all right, we're going to start with a couple projects that I made using the scrapbooking kit. And the scrapbooking kit, you can get that with 12x12 papers, with pocket cards, or with the simple notebook. Mine doesn't have a cover on. This is my sample, but isn't that pretty? Love the simple notebook. So many fun things that you can do with this. Whether you like to scrapbook or journal or junk journal, you can do that with the simple notebook. So I had this great photograph of Fred the tree, which if you've ever been down in the Keys, you have seen Fred the tree, and you can actually look it up on Google Maps, and it is an actual landmark, which is really kind of fun. So, and the other thing that you're going to notice is just about everything that I'm going to show you has paint splatters on it. And that is because in the creative kit, which I'll show you shortly, we have these two beautiful pans of watercolor, and they have a beautiful shimmer to them. And I kind of threw them on everything. And I should also mention, in the store, we have these great tins that you can use. You can use these for anything, but we got them for you to, if you wanted to put and start collecting watercolor pans, you can do that. And the paintbrush, what's nice is the paintbrush fits in here as well. So you can throw your paintbrush in there if you want to use these for die cuts. They work great for die cuts as well. So they're just kind of great little storage containers, but they are great for the watercolor. That's kind of what they're meant for. But anyway, all right, we'll get to that. So a couple of the other things that I used with this particular layout is we also have a die set. Cocoa Daisy's doing a little bit of everything. Isn't that fun? So we have this great die set. So if you have a die cutting machine, you can use these. And I used this one and this one and this one. I used all three of these to create these little die cuts. I thought they were just looked like the fun little tags hanging, the smaller size tags as well. And what I did, I used the stamp set that comes in the scrapbooking kit just to add a little bit on there. But what I thought was kind of fun is I used the die on specific parts of a couple of the pocket cards. So this one I cut out of here just to kind of give me that subtle background so that I could stamp on it. I included the little word note when I cut it out. And then this one had the vacay mode, so I cut that one out of that, and I thought that turned out really, really cute. I did the same thing on that one, and then these were just regular pattern paper. These were just regular pattern paper as well. You also get these great felt stitched pockets. I love the texture of these. I think these are super, super fun. And then there are little tags that will fit in those pockets. I used a tag on one, and then the other one I added my photograph. A piece of chipboard on here. I tucked in one of the die cuts. I punched a hole through there and added the string, and then tied a couple of those dies that I cut out, and then one of the little puffy stickers. The puffy stickers are super, super cute. So I added one of those on there and just kind of created that just to kind of break up. It was very grid-like, very geometric, very, boxy. And I wanted to break that up a little bit. So that's why I added the strings in there, kind of a little bit of movement to kind of bring you down through that layout as well. I did add a little bit of that watercolor splatter in the background. And for the journaling, I loved this card. It said what we saw, and I thought that is perfect. And then what I did, I got a little fussy with it because it looks like a torn piece of paper. There was a border around this. I actually cut it out. I took a piercer and pierced every one of those little holes so that it looks like I tore it out of a notebook. I wanted it to have that effect. So I kind of mushed it up and grunged it up a little bit just to kind of make it look a little bit more, texture to it. And I added that in there and I really liked it. There's a little bit of string on there. I did a little bit of the stamp with the anchor as well. But what I love about having the tags and the little pockets, it's kind of an almost immediate layout. It's super easy to do a grid, and then you add a little something on this side. If you wanted to, you could take and add your journaling in one of the pockets, and then over on this side you could simply add just a piece of chipboard in the middle and be done, and that's it. It's super, super simple. It doesn't even have to be as many layers as I did here, but I love the way that turned out. Worked really, really fun. Then I also did, and I love how this one turned out. So I've done some 12 by 12 layouts for you guys. I think, did I do one? Yes, I did one for June. And I really, I like to do 12 by 12 layouts. I don't like storing 12 by 12 layouts. They're huge. And I know a lot of people get a little intimidated by a larger canvas like that. And this is the size that I like to do. In fact, let me grab my... So I do these often, as you can see here. And what I do is I take one of the sheets of the A5 notebook that we offer, and that's my background. So that becomes my patterned paper background. But I love this size. It's such a great size. And then I just keep them all in here, much more manageable. But I really wanted to do something, not a lot of journaling on this, but super focused on the photograph and this pattern paper. So I printed out the photograph relatively large. Before I printed it, I added that saying. I love that saying so much, and it actually, the whole mood of what I was thinking and dealing with at the beach. My father had passed away shortly before we took that trip, and so that saying worked perfect for that moment, and I wanted to remember that. So I have the larger photograph, and then the pattern paper. I love this. So I wanted it to kind of look like you were looking through something at the picture. And I took a piece of the pattern paper and I tore a section out of the middle and then put each side on my sheet of paper. So you can see actually there's the stripe. There's a little bit of pattern behind here, not much, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to use a piece of the washi tape on there. I added that a little bit, just kept it very simple again, because the focus I wanted to be on the photograph and the saying that's on there. I added the little bit of chipboard on there, the little puffy anchor, and then just this little tag and the puffy alphas. And that's it. That's all I did on there, but I think it turned out beautiful. I love the layers. It's simple, but there's still a lot of texture to it, and there's still a lot going on in your focal point. It works just great, especially if you have a larger photo that you want to showcase. I think this is a fun way to do it. Yeah, I did not do any stamping on that one either. Super simple. Really, really like how that turned out. Let's take a look at a couple of ways that we can use the stationery kit. The stationery kit is, to me, it is a great mix of just all of the things that you love when you are a journaler or a scrapbooker or a paper crafter. It has stickers, it has pretty papers, it has sticky notes, washi tape, clips. Can be a little bit of everything. And then we try and always throw in a surprise here and there. with something a little different. And this month, that was this beautiful clip here with the seashells and the beads. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. So I did two completely different things using this kit to show you the versatility of it. So I have a spread in these are my A5 inserts, and they're 6-hole punch, and this is a weekly spread. And it came with these 2 oversized tags, which I love these. I sometimes use these in my scrapbook, but I also love to use them as bookmarks in my planner. So I used this one. I added the weekday stickers. I added those on there. I added I loved these. You can see where I used actually a number of those. That is the pet stickers. They're super thin. I added a few of those on there. I added, there's other regular stickers. The vellum stickers. I used one of those. I used the sticky note on there as well. And then you get a great little postcard, which I will tuck in here and probably use it to hold my sticky notes. I haven't decided yet. And then you also get this fun little button. Now it has a pin backing, which you can use. You can put that on your pouch or your tote bag as is. If you pop that pin backing off, you can use it with one of our magnetic clips. So this one, you can see where I popped that off, and then it just goes right on, and then you can use it as a clip. So that's a spread that I've decorated in my planner. If you're more into journaling or scrapbooking, you can see what I did this is a standard size notebook. And I loved this saying, and it went so well with the picture that I took just down in Houston that hubby took of me, that I wanted to layer that and create a journaling spread. So I used the A5 notebook, the standard size notebook. I enlarged a photograph. I added some type to the photograph. I used some of this beautiful vellum, and I put that behind the photograph, just kind of tore the edge there. I love these stickers, and just created a small little highlight there at the top. One of the stickers I put on a scrap piece of cardstock and cut it out, and then a little foam adhesive to give it a little depth. So I have that cute little cluster. You could keep going. I mean, you could keep layering it. You could add another piece of the vellum under there. You could add another little sticker under there. I love the overlay that comes. Isn't that beautiful? That comes in this collection. This is something that you actually could put in your planner as well. I love that. But the vellum went really, really nice behind the photograph. I added some of this gorgeous washi tape. I think this is one of my favorites this month. It has all the seashells. I just added that. That kind of continues along in the background there. Nice long bit of journaling. The other thing I did, and you're going to see this on just about everything, is, and you'll see this in my other project video, but I'm going to bring it up now because you're going to see it on everything, is in the creative kit, we have 2 pans of this beautiful shimmery watercolor. And I splattered that on, I think, every single one of my layouts that I did this month because it's so pretty, and I love, it kind of makes you think of like that salt spray, and it adds just another layer, and I think it looked so pretty behind my journaling. I put down, just kind of as an embellishment, I used one of the sticky notes, and then I added one of the vellum stickers over top, and I think that turned out really, really cute. So it's a great way to show you how you have the same product, but there's so many different ways, so many different applications for it. whether you like to journal or scrapbook, or you have a planner setup that you want to use it for. Okay, the creative kit. I love this kit. You guys hear me say that every month, but I do. I love putting it together every month. I love trying to come up with some fun, creative ideas for you guys to use on anything and everything, whether you journal, junk journal, whether you make cards or tags, or just create for creating's sake, right? Just for fun. Scrapbook, whatever you're going to do. I love the creative kit and the applications that you can do with it. So I have a couple examples for you. First of all, the primary thing that you get in the creative kit is we're going to do a little watercolor. So you actually get a nice fine watercolor brush, and you get 2 pans of watercolors. And these are inklings and twinklings. And these are from Shimmers, I believe, if I remember right. And there's the Blue Bayou and the Blue Lagoon. And they are, here, let me show you in here. They're so, so pretty. They have a ton of shimmer to them. And the colors, I think, just go perfect with this month's collection. And I don't know if I mentioned it. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. We have the great tin that you can order to use with those, or with whatever you want. They will hold the paintbrush as well. So one of the things that I did and I played around with is, so you get 2 tags in the kit as well. So you can make a couple tags. And part of the reason the tags are in there is for you to play. You can end up using them as a background. You can add them to a journal later. You can use them as a gift tag. But I want you to use those 2 tags to play with the inks and get an idea of how they flow, how they work, how much shimmer is in them. And one of the things that I did with mine, and I'm hoping, and actually I'm going to stand up here so I can make sure I'm getting this in focus for you. But there is a technique, and you can look it up. There's different YouTube videos about it, where you can add different salts. You want to add the salt when the paint is not super wet, but not completely dry. There's kind of this perfect Goldilocks moment when you add the salt, and you will get these little bits where it absorbs it. You let it sit until it dries, and then you scrape the salt off, but you get these great images. You can see right here. There's some right there as well. And then the other thing I did is I actually took an acrylic block, and I laid some of the watercolor right on here and then just stamped it down. So that gives you that effect there and there. This I actually brushed it on. But that is the point of the watercolors and the tags, is I want you to play with them, to try some different things. And this one turned out really, really pretty. So I don't know what I'm going to add, but it has that beautiful shimmer. And I don't know if it's showing up on camera or not, but there's a beautiful shimmer to it. And then these 2 I layered with some of the rub-ons. So what I did is I took a couple of the rub-ons, rubbed them on some extra cardstock, and cut them out and created die cuts with them, and then layered them over the tags. I used a couple of the deco cards. I want to make a comment about the deco cards. These are not die cuts. There's no adhesive on the back of these. These are actually intended, these are a little smaller than what I want. Going forward, they will be much larger, like note cards. And maybe that will help with the confusion that you think that these need to be adhesive. These are not die cuts. They are cards, and they're not meant to have adhesive on the back. And they will be larger going forward. I think with, I don't know if we did August. I think August and September both have them larger. So be looking for that. But then I just layered them with those. This one I distressed the edges a little bit. And then the other fun thing we have this month, we have this great Anchor wax seal. So if you can purchase any of our wax seal stuff in the shop, you can get the whole thing if you're new to it. If all you want is the head there, the wax seal head, you can order just that. And I wanted to mention which beads I used for what. So you can get, this is the ice blue and this is the ocean blue. And the nice thing is each one comes with 3 different colors. If you mix them together, you'll get a great swirl of color. If you want to use just one color like I did here on this one, you can do that as well and you get just the light blue. These light blues look similar, but they actually are just a shade different. But the teal on this one is really, really pretty with this month's collection as well. So that's just a look at me playing, right? And creating some fun layers, playing with those watercolors. And then I actually created a layout as well using all of that. So here is, this is the B6 size. And I splattered some of the watercolors, and there's, again, I don't know if you can see it, but there's such a pretty shimmer to those. And it just reminds me of the sea, of like the salt spray, and it adds a great background to your pages. This would be like a scrapbook page or a journal page. If you like to do that, it can be a junk journal. And this is in the B6 notebook. And what I really wanted to do, so the envelope, the deco cards, the little cards actually come in a brown envelope. I wanted to use that and add that in my layout, in my journal layout here. And I actually just I ran it right through the printer and added my journaling on there. Excuse me, there's a little bit of rub-ons on here. I used some of the alpha stickers that come in the kit. I did another one of the little anchor seals on there. I thought that turned out really cute. This is one of the deco cards, one of the little, the small tabs that comes in with the die cuts, and then some of the washi tape, and then I added my journaling on there. And I think it turned out really, really cute. I love this size too. The B6 size is a really fun, manageable size. Like this is small enough you could throw this in one of our pouches or in your purse, in a small tote with a few supplies, and you're good to go. And I like that it's a little wider. So if you like things a little bit smaller, you don't want to do a full-on A5, or you don't want to do like a large happy planner or anything like that, this is a great size. It's very manageable. Just added a couple photographs on there, and that's it. It's all set. So that's a look at what I used the creative kit for. All right, and then I also want to show you what I did as far as with the stamp set. Now, there will be a separate stamping video where I will go over stuff with you, but I wanted to share this with you because we're on the subject of using these, the wax seals and the stamps and all the goodies. So this uses a little bit of everything, right? So I used the stamp subscription stamp set, which is this beautiful set right here. I love that you can create your own postage stamp. How fun is that? And what I did is I stamped this little postage stamp and cut it out. I stamped 2 images of the palm trees, one in brown and one in green, and then I layered them so that I had the green palm and then the brown trunks for the tree. And then make sure I've got that in frame for you. Then the anchor, what I did is this stamp works with this die. I should mention the same way, this seahorse works with this die as well. So those two are compatible with stamp sets. And if you've been with Cocoa Daisy a while, I think this was 2 years ago. I don't think this was last year. I think it was 2 years ago. Anyway, this stamp set, these work with these. So super versatile, right? Lots of different ways that you can use them. Or as I showed you on the scrapbooking layout, you can just use those on pattern paper if you want, or on some of the pocket cards. But I used it on my little card here. I layered everything, lots of foam to layer in there. Added that little stamp in the background. These, fun little thing you can do, are not glitter dots. Those are wax. You can make your own enamel dots. How fun is that, right? All you do is with your little spoon, you do just little drops on some wax paper, or if you have a little silicone mat, you can put it on there, and then they come right off. You use a little bit of glue, and ta-da, they look like enamel dots. Isn't that fun? So just a fun little way that you can use the stamp set. And then for the seal, you know, going super old school, using the wax seal to close the envelope. I thought that was fun. Another thing we have in the store is we are selling sets of the cards with the envelopes. So you get 3 cards, 3 envelopes. So if you love to make cards, you get this beautiful white, bright cardstock that you can use to make your own cards as well. So I love how that turned out. I love the little anchors. So what I did, I didn't stamp them and then die cut them. I die cut them and then stamped them. I felt that that was just a lot easier. The one thing I didn't do on here that I probably should have and would have if I'd have thought of it is to splatter some paint on the background, because I'm having so much fun with those paints. But that is a look at a few more fun things that I created using the Where the Sea Dreams collection. Hey, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. Love when you do that. I love to hear what you're enjoying, what you're thinking, what you're looking forward to, and what you're working on as well.